This video we're going to cover the interior inspection. Now to begin with, we'll look at the circuit breakers. Step 1, circuit breakers checked. You want to ensure that they're all in and flush. You can run your hand over them to ensure that they're flush. It's easy to find a popped circuit breaker, as in this example. This is what one would look like, and also how to reset it. Now be aware that the section 3 of the Dash 1 has a warning: do not reset a popped circuit breaker in the fuel system. It also has a caution: do not reset popped bus feeder circuit breakers. Now if you have a question as to whether a circuit breaker should be reset, talk to your IP or contact ground maintenance personnel. Continuing with step 2, defog lever blower floor and off. Now the lever itself is a 2 position. Aft is floor, forward is defog. You want in the aft floor position, and the blower is a push button. In, as you can hear, is the on position, and you want it out in the off position. Third step, the emergency door close handle, safety. Now it's hard to see from there, but underneath this pull lever there's actually a copper wire, and you want to ensure that that twisted wire is intact. The emergency landing gear down handle, safety. Same thing applies with the safety wire. Hydraulic pressure relief switch, normal. That's in the down and closed and guarded position. Fuel counter reset. Up here, if you simply press the left button, the digital display will reset to 0. Looking down here, the engine EFCs need to be in the off position, and that is in the aft position. Engine synchronizer is off. That's the center 12 o'clock position. Anti-skid off, also in the center position. The emergency brake, safety. Here you get a better visual of what the safety wire looks like. A single twisted strand of copper wire in the emergency brake. Cabin dump valve, safety. Same thing. Cabin pressure controller, set. Now here you want to set the higher of these two values, either 1,000 feet above your cruise altitude, that would be set on the inner ring, or 500 feet above your field elevation, that would be set on the outer ring. You also want to set the rate controller to approximately the 10 o'clock position. Environmental control panel, set. Going left to right, bleed air, off. Cabin outlet is in the out position. Temperature as required, typically it's going to be full cold. The mode, auto flight deck. Ground air is off, also in the out position. This is a good opportunity to set your aux temp control as desired. Typically off reset. If you need some ventilation, either blow 1 or 2. If it's very warm, you can use aux cool, or in the winter time when it's extremely cold, electric heat 1. Finally, or next is the AV standby blower. That should be in the out off position as well. And then finally, the manual pressurization knob. That needs to be in the full increase position, full clockwise. Moving over to the far side of the co-pilot seat, pneumatic pressure gauge, checked. You want to ensure that this is in the within limits. Oxygen pressure gauge, checked. Same thing applies, ensure that it's within limits. Oxygen system ready, pull. Very important that you pull the silver knob and not the red one. And then defog lever blower, same thing applies as the first time we checked it on the pilot's side. Alright, moving to the overhead panel, we'll start with the master generators. Both of these should be in the forward, closed and guarded position, normal. Cabin sign in the FSB, or fastened seat belt. Indicator lights for typical daytime sortie will be in the bright forward position. Dim would be for a nighttime sortie. Instrument lights, again for a daytime sortie, are going to be off. Exterior lights, off. Landing lights, retracted, which is the aft position, and off. These buttons control the on-off function. These control the position. To ensure that they're retracted and off, these lights should not be illuminated. De-ice backup switch, safety. Same thing applies as mentioned earlier with the single strand of twisted copper wire. Anti-ice, off. Now in the newer modified T1s, you'll see in the wing anti-ice a System 1 and System 2. The off position will be in the center rocker position. Master test off, that's the 12 o'clock position. Generator reset switches as required. For a typical GPU assisted start, they'll be off. If we were doing a battery start, they would need to be in the normal position. But again, today, they'll be in the off position. AOA pitot-static heat, off. Wipers, off. Ignition switches, standby. And this is a typical setup when you come out to the jet. So you'll need to move the ignition switches to the standby position. Jet pumps, normal, in the forward position. Boost pumps, off. That's the centered position. Fuel transfer to auto, forward position. And fuel crossfeed to the center 12 o'clock, normal position. Last step of the checklist, entrance door closed. To begin with, you want to retrieve the stairs. Keep them in the up position and be sure that the cable is not going to get in the way of closing the door. Now to close the door, you first want to brace it with one hand in case the wind tries to slam it. Depress the locking button, which will allow it to close. And then finally, grasp the handle, pull and turn. And as you do so, you want to make sure that each of the 8 windows will change from a red indicator to a white indicator to ensure that all locking pins have operated properly. Now there are three things you want to ensure: that that the door itself didn't bind during closure, that the 8 pin indicators are all white, and that finally a simple check of the door handle will not allow it to open without depressing the pin itself. And that completes the interior inspection checklist.